It's great to see so many people here, smiles on their faces. And Alumni Weekend, or Alla Padrita Weekend, is a little bit of everything all mixed together. And we are thrilled to have guests on campus. So we love starting this weekend off with a meeting. We have our National Alumni AGM, and then we get to have this wonderful ceremony. And this is an award that honors the Father of Athol Murray College of Notre Dame. So the Father Athol Murray Award nomination process was launched back in January. Angie McGarry, the president of our National Alumni Association, kicked off that event. So she came out, spoke to the staff and students, and much like today, you could have heard a pin drop, right? So I feel there's this anticipation around this event. So she came, students and staff, after that kickoff event, had the opportunity to nominate someone in grade 11 or 12 that they thought would be a fantastic recipient of this award. So Tom Shoebridge, one of our alum, who helps sit on the chairing committee, he and I receive all these nominations as they come in. So busy in my office working, bing, the email comes through and I see Father Athol Murray nomination, get a little smile, and then I get to read what are just absolutely wonderful compliments to each and every one of you, coming from staff, coming from students, and it's a fantastic break in my day, and it warms my heart. So this year, I'm pretty sure I had between 60 and 70 nominations, and so I get that little moment where I am excited to hear wonderful things about you guys and what you're doing on campus. This award specifically recognizes a student who embodies an awareness of the spiritual, demonstrates leadership through action and deeds, communicates effectively and inspires others, shows exemplary moral conduct, the courage to act according to their convictions, and has respect for their peers and the larger community. So this is a long line of great things, and they're kind of all wrapped into this one award, which basically sum up Père's characteristics, principles, and ideals. So thank you very much to the staff that participated on the selection committee. I know that's another area where you volunteer your time and you help out with this, and I appreciate that. I have the list of nominees that I'm going to read out, and they're in alphabetical order. So I feel like Teams and Microsoft organizes these lists based on first names. So first name, alphabetical order. I will announce them, and I'll have all of the nominees please stand, and we'll hold our applause, but we'll have them all standing, and then we'll carry on. Okay, so the nominees for the 2025 Father Athol Murray Award are Anya Kruger, Ben Bugeaud, Connor Dunn, Danica Coquel, Eagle Dubois, Georgia Lynn Kiwatin, JC Watson, Jet Wang, Juliette Gagné-Delaunay, Kat Mattern, Kenton Dumont, Kiara Parrott, Killian Venhorst, Kobe Bozar, Mason Harrington, Michael Pym, Natalie Harasny, Nathan Thompson, Fearson Lohndorf, Regan Lynch, Reed White, Ryder Piziak, and Sam Coaster. Okay, did I butcher some names? I'm hearing a lot of giggling. And I said Michael, but it's Micah. So anybody else? Were there any other errors? No? Okay, we're good. Let the giggles out. Okay, you may be seated. Okay, so you have the award description, you have the background, you know who the nominees are. I now want to turn your attention to our guest speaker, Paul Champagne. So Paul Champagne was encouraged to attend the college in 1953 by Father Murray as a very competent goalie. He finished high school and then he took a Bachelor of Arts, graduating in 1957. Okay, so Paul is an alum from a long time ago, and we are so happy to have him here on campus. Paul moved to Ottawa and worked with the federal government before deciding to complete a degree in public administration. So he went to the university in Syracuse. And then once again, after that experience, he returned to the nation's capital, where he was awarded a fellowship to study in Japan. So he traveled overseas, had that experience, and then once again returned to Ottawa. He worked on Parliament Hill and had a lifelong interest in politics. The concept of law came calling, and he completed his law degree at the University of Windsor. After practicing in Toronto for a few years, he explored employment in Florida, and then he returned to Canada, but landed in Canmore, Alberta. He managed the renowned Mountain Hound Lodge, which was owned by several hounds. And finally, Paul settled back in Ottawa, where he was a lawyer until his retirement in 2018. At this time, he moved to Fernie, BC, which is where he still resides. So he has two sons, Bram, who was a hound in 79-80, and then Napoleon, who is here with him today. So we are excited to hear Paul's stories, and then we all have to remain patient as we wait. He will announce the award recipient after he's done speaking to us. So please help me welcome Paul Champagne, class of 57.
It's a good thing I had Napoleon, my son, with me to drive and tell me where we're going with this little magic box saying turn left at the next corner and all that stuff. Otherwise, I would have gotten lost and I never would have recognized Notre Dame. Oh, it's so good to be here. I'm sorry. This is the second time. Oh, God. I'm sorry. Oh, I was in the museum and saw all that stuff. Oh my God, what a place! You guys realize the history and what goes on? What on here? Oh, you're so lucky to be at Notre Dame. I gotta tell you. Anyway, I'm from Melville, and that, of course, will get me a standing O. Go ahead. No. Anyway. I got some notes here. I wish I could read them. When Tom Shoebridge called me and asked me to do this, I felt really, really flattered. I'm absolutely delighted and what?
You came a long way. We want to hear you.
Oh, fine.
Okay. Good.
Down by the riverside. Okay. You know, we had a quartet. I don't know what the hell the name of it was, but I think they called us the Four Bananas, and we were a hell of a bunch. We were great. Anyway, when Tom called me about this, he said, relax. I'm nervous enough. Relax. Just answer the question that what does Père and Notre Dame mean to my life? He said, just hit that point and get on with it. And don't try and be too funny. You never have been, and you're not going to learn and start now. So I said, okay, I'll give it a shot, and I'm really excited about it. Look at all the faces. Oh, you lucky people. Anyway, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm going to try and figure out what Père and Notre Dame means to me and pass it on to you guys. Very quickly, my interest in Notre Dame started way back in 1953 when these guys all dressed up in football uniforms already and came parking over by the football field at Central High School in Melville to come and play our team. And they would race came out of this box that was attached to the back of the truck called the, what did we call it? The doghouse, right, the doghouse. Thank you for the prompt. Anybody wants to prompt me, that's perfect. You've heard of Ovechkin, okay? The great hockey player, the grade 8. We were talking to the grade 88. And I think I'm down to about one marble now when I think about it. So please bear with me. So anyway, where was I? Yeah. And it was a magic time when those Hounds came to play hockey and football. I admire them so much. One of the things that really struck me is prior to every game, they fell on one knee and did the Notre Dame prayer. I thought that was so touching and so Catholic, which some might not mean too much to some people, but I thought it was one of the romantic things I've ever seen. The other thing that really struck me is when guys like Pat Claggett and Eddie McNiven poured out of the back of the doghouse, all dressed up already in their football pads and everything, which is something I've already mentioned. But after they, with their helmets off, and ran out to the field to start doing their exercises, the thing that really struck me about that group of people that came out of the doghouse was their mohawk haircuts. I mean, they looked like they wanted to kill. And I was so glad I wasn't on the football team. I didn't mind playing hockey against them, but I didn't want Tim Daly's big fat legs and knees smashing me in the face when I tried to tackle him. So, but anyway, it was great. And then when that was all over, when the games were over, they had all mosey on over to St. Henry's School, where I attended school early in high school, and there was a little nun there by the name of Edith. And you may have heard of her. She used to, in the very old days, she used to run the convent here. And they transferred over to Melville to teach us really how to live. And but she welcomed all of the football teams and all of the hockey teams over to the school when they're finished playing. This is the old part of the old, not barter system. What was that word I used earlier today? Billet. The billet. It's like part of the old billeting scheme, where if you end up in Nippers Harbor, Newfoundland, and you're lost, and you find out there's a hound there, in the old days you used to go knock on his door, he'd take care of you. It was part of the whole Notre Dame tradition. And I miss it. I don't know whether it's back in place. Is it? It is? I think if you found a hound, they could stay. Okay. It's a good start. So anyway, where was I? Yeah. So those things caused me to be greatly curious about the college. I loved the style of the guys. I loved their spirit. I loved that huddle to say a prayer. And there was something really magic about them. And then it's particularly at the school, after they've eaten poor Mother Edith out of house and home and school, Frank Germain would stand up and sing the Notre Dame prayer. And he could sing like a bird, that guy. And he was a marvelous leader, and we all looked up to Frank. And he was a playing coach, both baseball and hockey. I'm really talking too much here, and I apologize. I can't stop. I'm so excited. And anyway, and then all the boys would sing the Victory March, and come back to Wilcox. So it was magic. Does anybody get some water? Or maybe, how about a little champagne? That'd be nice. Okay, so anyway, what happened is, just to round off that little part about why I kind of fell in love with the college, back in 53, Père Murray was invited to come to Melville to speak to the Blue Line Club, which was a hockey booster club in Melville. We had the Melville Millionaires senior team, and he came. He spoke. Everybody was riotous at his jokes. Almost rioted when he was talking about the government's plan of socialized medicine, because he didn't like to be pushed around or ordered or anything. But he was great. He had a couple of hounds with him. He always took some hounds with him when he took trips. These two guys were from Gravelbourg, and they speak French. My father could hardly speak English. Père could speak French as well. So Père, being the diplomat he was, brought these two kids along with him to Melville, George Culpron and Pierre Morin. And they spoke French all day, and it was marvelous. So, toward the end of the evening, I noticed the summit in the kitchen between Père and my parents. And Dad said, so I went out to the kitchen, and Dad said, Paul, how'd you like to go to Notre Dame tonight? What? Yeah, and Père walked up to me, and he says, throw your goddamn toothbrush in the trunk and we're gone. You know? Wow. And he hit me in the stomach. Well, he almost killed me. Anyway, just a little touch of love, right? Anyway, I woke up the next morning in Lane Hall on the second floor, and that was it. He called a guy in who later became one of my best friends, Dean Bell. He said, Dean, take Paul, show him around, and put him in Lane Hall. Not Lane Hall, whatever it was. So that's where I started. So then then the next thing you know, I was given jobs as a first-year boy. You don't want to hear about any of them. You have to do with dishes, running to get a cigarette from the other end of town, you know, that sort of stuff. Hurry up and sharpen my skates, whatever. It was rough, and it was fun. Oh, thank you. Here's to you guys. So, forging ahead, I was here for 4 years. I took the last year of high school, which was deemed to be the first year of arts, and then stayed in to get the real juice from Père during his teaching us during the course of the arts program. You saw me sniffle when I started this thing. You should have seen me crying when I walked into the museum. Oh my God, the memories. Oh. And I don't know how he accumulated so much stuff. It's not going to be long. You would need another building. It's incredible. Napoleon and I brought a little gift from my son Bram, who was here for a year, and myself. So to put into the museum, it's an unfinished bust of John Diefenbaker with our thanks on it, and we delivered it today. So enjoy. There's already a Grand Maison painting of the chief in there. Now we'll see him half alive, because usually he was half dead. You know, he was, if you knew anything about John Diefenbaker. What are you laughing at? Anyway, so I had 4 years here. Getting back to the original question, what was Père and Notre Dame mean to my life? So it's a good question. So what did I see during those 4 years? What did I hear during those 4 years? What did I learn during those 4 years? So I've got a little list of characteristics about Père. I'm going to empty this quicker than I thought if I drop it. I was taught by Père. I was thrown out of the college by Père. I snuck back in past him to get back into the college by Père, around him. But he was explosive. He was funny. He was convincing. He was a saint. I'm going to talk a little bit later about how I feel about you guys missing him. But anyway, a few of the things about him is he was all on the side of the primacy of the spiritual. It's really crucial to him That refers to the idea that spiritual or higher values are more important and should be prioritized over purely material and temporal concerns. This concept, often explored in religious and philosophical contexts, suggests that a focus on spiritual and well-being and a connection to something beyond the material world leads to a more meaningful and fulfilling life. His buddies in that was a guy by the name of Jacques Maritain, a professor and a theologian, and Etienne Guettin, another philosopher who was on the side of the primary of the spiritual. Mass. I used to watch him, of course, when he would say Mass. You know, for a little bulky, little muscle-bound, tough guy, when he started saying Mass, he turned into a ballet dancer. He's light on his feet. He used to walk around gently around the altar and handling all the accoutrements that make up the Mass with great delicacy, respect, and love. It was just magic to see him. And it really brought out how spiritual he was, because he was talking and acting and thanking and working for his buddy God, which he had a great love for, and it was reciprocal. I'm going down a list of characteristics. He was he carried on an interreligious dialogue. And what I mean by that is he didn't hustle anybody or beat them up if they wanted to come to Notre Dame. In other words, they didn't have to be Catholic. There was a lot of people that weren't Catholic, and he welcomed them, and he God damn it! People of different religious faiths were equal in his eyes all across the board. Did you hear what I said when I whispered? Père was not a nuanced person at all. There's no slippery words coming out of his vocabulary. He spoke the truth. He's very clear. No nuances in his conversation. And that's one of the reasons why young people liked him so much, because he told it like it is. And that's why he could work so well with the people at Notre Dame, the kids at Notre Dame. And this frankness of his, he loved to see it out of one of his heroes, which was Winston Churchill, who could really be frank with people, as we all know, as a politician and as a warrior against them in the Second World War in particular. And Winston was the arch enemy of a woman called, I don't know her first name, but her family name was Astor. Now these people didn't wear the purple. They were royalty. Neither was Winston, for that matter. But she was at everything that the Queen or the King was doing. She was there. That was her social life. But those two never got along at all. Winston and Mrs. Astor, Lady Astor, did nothing but fight. Anyway, it turns out one day they were both at a dinner at Buckingham Palace, and somebody put them sitting beside each other. So they were, waiting for dinner to come, and they both had a glass. She had a glass of champagne, of course. He had his usual scotch. And she looked over at him at one point and said, Mr. Prime Minister, if I were married to you, I would put poison in your drink. Oh. And he looked at her and he said, Lady Astor, if that were the case, I'd drink it. Thank you. Isn't that a great story, though? Anyway, Père was a signal sender. Signal sender. Hope, humility, and humanity were some of the vibes that came popping off his essence. He was erudite because he came from money. His family, his grandfather had a dry goods store in downtown Toronto. Right across the street was some guy by the name of Tim Eaton. Remember Eaton's? Well, that's a big one. No way. Anyway, he had a big store, department store, right up there with the bay. So he learned manners, and he was a very cool guy. And he used to nip around, as a young man, he used to nip around Toronto with a cane and gloves and spats. Spats are that weight thing you cover your shoes with, so he was a real dandy. So he knew manners, and he knew what to order. He knew the wine to order. He knew what hors d'oeuvres he liked, and to prepare, and to deliver to his guests. The relevance of that observation goes back to a story about a guy by the name of Ron Murphy who went to the college. You got to know this one. Ron was a terrific guy. He's originally from Melville, too. Great football player, perfect hands. Anyway, he had worked for the Hudson Bay Company, and he came down to the college, and he wanted to address the fourth-year class and try and recruit a few of the boys. There were no girls. Into the business program at the Hudson Bay Company. It's a one-year program. You had to have a BA to get in the program. It was a no slouch type thing. And during the course of his pitch, trying to interest people, he made a comment that Père was in Père. One of the things about the people at Notre Dame is that they're a little bit cloistered here. And one of the attractions of joining a company like Hudson Bay and starting out in Saskatoon is going to be able to live in a city and find out what a little bit of the rest of the world, how they live, and have a good time, and go to the movies, and lots of stuff to entertain you. And so anyway, that was that. And he finished his pitch, and then he left. The door closed behind him, and Père said, "God damn it, he didn't realize it, but this is Notre Dame. Notre Dame, we care about the Greeks. We care about Socrates. We care about God. We care about his son, JC. And what does he want us to be? A whole bunch of goddamn merchants?" Oh, I don't know why you don't find that funny, honestly. You had to be there. That's one of the things you're missing in your life is Père telling his story. Anyway, he took that to heart, and he spun on his heel and disappeared back into his room in Lane. And then a few days later, he came in to teach his course. He was teaching us history of education. All he could talk about was the Greeks, which is okay with us. But anyway, he said, the Hudson Bay Company was started around 16 or 1700. They worked so hard with the French explorers and the indigenous folks who helped them, get the furs together and bring them all back to Europe. And the Hudson Bay Company was a great store and a great organization in terms of the development of Canada. So I guess it's okay if they work for the Bay. I'm really enjoying this. Are you? Adam. Now, so yeah, here's the point, being erudite. He said, well, God damn it, we're going to fix that. We're going to work on that. So he gathered up the arts class. He said, we're going into Regina, and we're going over to Champs, and we're going to have dinner there. So mind your manners. So we got in the doghouse, and we went into Regina. We went to Champs. Place was packed as usual, because it's one of the fanciest restaurants in Regina. It was an excellent place for dinner. And there we were, these little prairie people, and, kind of not too smooth, and great at hockey and football, but, sometimes we'd foofy in where other people were around. I like that one too. Anyway, what is this guy here? Anyway, but we thought we were pretty good people. Anyway, he ordered everything. He got the menu. He said, champagne, this is what you're going to have. Cells, this is what you're going to have. Dean Bell, this is what you're going to have. Because he's reading the menu, right? And he just made a decision for everybody as to what they're going to eat. And how am I doing time-wise? Rather long?
I said a little. Not rather.
Okay, so he's trying to teach them a little culture and not be so isolated, right? That's the point. And he started pointing out to what fork to use, what knife to use, and just teaching them to be erudite. So it was a horror show, really. We were so embarrassed. And when we were finished dinner, he said, okay, gang, let's show them who we are. And he says, let's do it, and let's do it loud. So, cheer, cheer. So we're all sitting around this table. The place is filled with people, and he insisted that we start singing the victory march, which we did. Of course, we would never not do it. And we were all crawling under the table almost with embarrassment. God damn it, that was great, gang. Okay, this is Notre Dame. Let's go back to work. Just like that. So he was erudite, but for sure he wouldn't show it. Not in a situation like that. Père was he practiced Serbian leadership. It's a big Jesuit thing. And that's the idea of serving others, particularly the team around him, be the teachers and so on, sports coaches and so on and so forth. And it increased his operations and interfacing with those people and made things a lot better and easier to do. He was a very, very, he was a person that did not know the meaning of fear. He was afraid of nothing. And he was not afraid, he was unafraid of alienation of people. Like he could rock a boat like crazy, but it didn't matter to him. He could do that with impunity, but he could get away with it because he was Père Murray. Okay, I'm moving along here. The few other things about him. He's a very savvy person who understood how to cultivate and to exercise power and influence. He could move among the great. And he rejected the norm. He reached out to everyone because he believed that God redeemed everybody. So he handled everybody with an even hand. He had outstanding, I'm almost there, his outstanding diplomatic skills gave him the ability to understand what needed to be done, how to move people, and still be the good listener. This one is something that he struggled to imbue in us. He was very proficient at getting people to transcend where they are to a higher plane. He wanted you to shoot high, in other words, to create or follow a larger sense of purpose. And this is one of his major avocations. He was always challenging us to look above, get big in your thinking. He was a marvelous motivator with the moral authority to affect the moving of people to greater heights. In so doing, he constantly challenged most people to follow his lead in very personal terms. The question then was, why was Père so effective in mobilizing people around his vision? How the hell did he do that? Because he had the moral authority. To do so. That is, the respect and credibility he gained because he was seen as someone who was genuinely concerned with what's good and what's right. His strength of character and the wisdom of his actions spoke volumes for his strength and the way the people used to follow him. Simply stated, people respected his character chops. A person with good character is known as a good person. And he had a ton of character. And that character showed through because of these various, a compilation of these various characters made him a man of great character. And he was a good man. And he was a holy man. So that little list is what I learned about Père. I learned a lot more when I was there during that 4-year period. What am I going to do with how I feel about him? Well, I could never get him out of my mind. He made an indelible mark on my thinking. And I made a little list of some of the personal projects that I moved myself into after I got out into the working world. I went back to the federal government, worked in the Department of Agriculture, doesn't matter. And the first year I went home, anyway, I started a thing called, it's a baseball league for children. It was called the Pony League, Protect Our Nation's Youth. The question I always had when I'm trying to do something like that, it always goes back to Père. And I would ask the question, what would Père do? You know, what would he do? Because I saw him do things really, really differently and with verve and excitement. There was an article that appeared in the Regina Leader Post, and it was about the United Nations, and the title of the program was "The Candle Won't Go Out," and it had to do with the United Nations, which was having a little trouble with its vision, its reputation in those days. And it, like Pony, the idea was to see if little pods of people could get interested and join in with a little club dealing with the United Nations. And I tried to put that in place in Melville, and it ran for a while, like the Pony did. And it was good. But every time, the question was, I've got an idea, now what would Père do? 1995, I got the idea that kids were falling by the wayside. They didn't have a real guardrail in terms of being able to bounce off any moral issues that they might face. And they were getting carried away with drugs, sex, and rock and roll. And that's okay, I guess, for them. But it seemed to me we needed a guideline for them, which they weren't getting, to help them through, a period of time that might put them in a predicament shortly of not being able to produce as well as they could produce otherwise. And religion is one of them. I've always supported religion because there's a framework. You call it the Ten Commandments. There's a set of rules. It's good stuff. And I didn't know what to do about it, but I wanted to do something. And I saw a conference on television, and all these people were involved in a thing called character education. I listened to a couple of speeches. I said, that's for me. Build character. Build good character. How do you do it? And today, it's in all the schools. You probably all heard it. I don't know. You might even have character education programs here. I don't know. I don't think you need them because this is Notre Dame. But anyway, there you go. And so what I did as I ran out, I said, what would Père do? How could I get this thing going? So I went and incorporated a nonprofit corporation. I still have it. It's called the Champagne Resource Center for Character Education. If you ever want to look at it, it's at characterhouse.ca. And Bob's your uncle. I've got a couple of indigenous people on my board, And this little bundle of information, and by the way, I believe that the teaching of education belongs initially, at least, with the parents. That's their responsibility. And a lot of that has dissipated and gone into the schools and into the YMCA, and hockey and baseball coaches say, we build character. Well, yeah, good, nice try. And unless you talk about it. And I thought they should be brought back to the home. I put a package together, and my friends on the board, the two chaps I just mentioned, I created a page for if a particular course was about responsibility or respect or honesty, I put a page in there about how people in the Indigenous community taught their kids respect or honesty, so that the parent could compare the two and get a hang on how people think in the Indigenous community particularly. So that was our little initiative relative to reconciliation. So that's good. And then back in October of 23, the Hamas came out of their holes in the Gaza, killed a whole bunch of Israelis. You know all about that. And it all went to hell. I had an idea about how Mr. Biden, the president, could help out. Again, I asked my question, what would Père do? You got an idea, how do you get to launch the thing? Well, how would Père do it? Because he would do it with vigor and he would do it. So anyway, I sent an email off to the White House with the idea I had, and I ended up speaking to one person from his office. He was happy that the idea hit his desk. He thought it was pretty good, but it's just not timely at this time. It had something to do with the bringing in the SS Eisenhower aircraft carrier and feeding the poor Palestinians, because Hamas was ripping off the food and water and supplies for the hospital and so on, and using it themselves. Anyway, that was that, and then that's about it. That's about all. I can't go any further. There's a beautiful thing I'm working on right now. Where is Drayden Sear? Drayden, are you here? Hi. I want to meet you. We're going to talk about a thing, a book called Valley of the Dolls. Have you read it? You got to read it. It's written by a couple of guys. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming up. Okay, man. It's about an Indian reserve, a white town, and the road to reconciliation. Their idea for reconciliation. It's okay, stay here. You can sit down if you want. The last chapter is called A Grand Notion. And this grand notion is right down Père's alley. These guys have recommended, and Mr. Chairman, you might be familiar with this book, and you might be familiar with the grand notion. The grand notion is nothing less the creation of a third level of national government. Self-sufficiency for the Indigenous people in Canada. I know what you've done here, and I need your help. I called up I got all excited about this thing because I asked myself the question, what would Père do? And this is a Père idea because it's so grand. And he knows so much about Aboriginal people because when he was a youth, he was working with them, over in Quebec, and oh my God, his experiences are incredible. Anyway, you know that. Père, what would you do? what would you do? So I called up one of the authors and I said, that's a magnificent book. It's a huge challenge. I can't wait to get started. Are you guys going to start doing anything to try and put that notion into use? And they both said no. We're young, we have children, we're both teaching, one at Osgood and the other one at University of Montreal or something. And I said, well, would you mind if I organized a group of people and developed the point of the spear to get some sort of an organization going to see whether or not we can start the whole business of a third level of government for Indigenous people in Canada. And they both said no. Said, we're young, we're busy, we got kids, the whole 9 yards, but I'll be watching your website, Go With God, and keep us posted. So that's number one. Number two, I'm in the process of writing a paper. The title of the paper is Two Cultures Alliance. And what it is an idea where you get a whole bunch of people from the Indigenous community and a whole bunch of people, all like-minded people, and put them together into call it a room, where they get to know each other, cultural empathy, getting to know each other's culture, study of history, study of the language, study of the music, study of that horrible thing with all the kids going to the schools, the history of each culture, until I really get to know each other and can trust each other and work together. Then we got an entity, and what's it going to do? It's just going to do good things. And that's all I can tell you at the moment, because we're not there yet. But I got to finish that paper and be able to show people, because I think it can work. I think that the two nations, I forget what I called it. What did I call it? The two nations alliance. Yes, is a real thing, and it can work. So I want to get that thing started. And what I need is people. I need people with knowledge of that. And I saw what you did at Notre Dame. So I want to talk to you about some of your recommendations as to how I might get this going. Primarily, who are the people in the Indigenous community? Who are the people in the non-Indigenous community who might be interested in putting together a thing like the Two Cultures Alliance? And we can, and its project will be to create, to ring the bell, to start what I call the bird tail project, and see whether we can get, it's 20 years to do it, 25 years, 30 years maybe, to create a whole brand new government in Canada by Indigenous, for Indigenous people. So, bottom line, you saw a little bit of experience I saw and what Père showed to me about himself. I walk away with it, and he said, good man, do good works. What you got to do, Paul, is you got to give it a shot. If you believe in it, give it a shot. So, I tried to give a few things over the years a shot. I succeeded in some, and I failed in others for various reasons, but I gave it a shot. Always with Père in mind. Character, explosion of passion, faith, the Christ. Oh, talking about the Christ. One of his big buddies was Jesus. You know what he said to Jesus one day? He said, I'm so proud of you, Jesus. Jesus said, why is that? He said, you're a hell of a businessman. He said, what are you talking about, Père? Père said, well, look at that franchise operation that you started. It's international. 1 million people, billion people. It's called JC's Pancake House. I mean, good Lord, that was terrific work, JC. JC's Pancake House, go. All right. Now, I'm now I'm going to land. 2 minutes, if you don't mind. This is important. First of all, I kind of feel bad for all of you and everybody that's been here that's never met Père or had the opportunity for him to teach them and to love them about what he knew about life. I don't think it makes much difference as far as you guys are concerned that you didn't meet Père. On the one hand, that's when I'm in a bad mood. When I'm in a good mood, I think that it's tragic that you didn't meet him, have the opportunity to get the benefit of his wisdom. I have a little project in mind for you, which I want to challenge you on. I want to bring Père a little closer to you. And I think the answer of bringing Père a little closer to you lies in Jack Gorman's book. Show me, please, how many of you folks have read Jack Gorman's book. Shame. He caught Père beautifully. My project, my challenge to you is to get close to the content of Jack Gorman's book. And here's what I'd like you to do. Get a few people together, you guys in the front row, get a little group together, give it a name. What do you want to call it? Jack Gorman's group? JCG or something? Set a month aside, get the book, and take the first 2 weeks to read the book. Then you divert your attention to the last 2 weeks of the month. And there you're going to study Jack Gorman's book. Because there's a huge difference between reading something and studying something. Pardon me? I had thick skin when I was in gold. Believe me, I was okay. Pick it up as a challenge. Work the book. Read the book. Study the book. Keep good notes. Organize a debate if you like. This idea sucks, you know? What are they doing? On the one hand, I hate this idea. On the other hand, I think it's a great idea. Debate it and see how it goes. I promise you, because of his writing, his passion in writing the book, I promise you, Père will come alive for you. You'll be closer to him. And you'll see a hell of a lot better about his personality than this bullet list that I read to you about his capabilities and about him. That's something, a challenge I want to leave you guys. It'll help you raise your sights. I have a second challenge for you. You can talk to Mr. Hrasny about this. This is a copy of a piece of experimental education, which myself and a number of hounds from around the Ottawa area put together. This is a report on it. It's dated July the 1st, 2007. It's called Classroom Canada. Question, a Canadian studies program at Notre Dame. Here's the deal on this one. You pick out 3 students. By the way, this was done with 3 students from the college back then. Jerry Scheibel, I don't know how the hell he did it, but he picked out a girl and 2 guys and to become guinea pigs in this program. The original plan and it involves travel and it involves the alumni. Here's how it works. You give them some subject matter, you decide with them, is there a part of Canada you'd like to go visit? If they say they want to go to Quebec, you find some alumni in Quebec, and you work up a project for them. For example, maybe a week in the Quebec legislature, working for a member of the legislature. As long as it's bilingual, right? Prior to going, you're going to have to study a little bit about French. You're going to have to study a little bit about French history. You're going to have to learn a little bit about politics. How does Parliament, the legislatures work? You qualify these 3 kids or 4 kids. Then you send the package over to some Notre Dame alumni in Quebec, and you get them working on that side in terms of the application of the plan. The whole idea is about Canada, Père loving Canada. Look at this beautiful thing that happened. I couldn't believe it. It's wonderful what you guys did in building this park. Canada Park it is it? They're going to put a big statue in there. There was something missing in what we were doing in terms of recognizing Père as a lover of Canada. This is a subject, this is something that can really be done, to be really interesting among the students. It's a trip to go overseas, not overseas, but to another part of Canada, get on a boat, fish for some cod, work with my friend Dan Donovan, the publisher of Ottawa Life magazine, spend some time in his office, learn a little bit about that, and write a paper when you get back about the thrills and excitement and difficulties of us living in basically a cross-cultural situation. What was it like in Ottawa? And that's the second challenge I have for you. If any one of you guys would like to try it, talk to Mr. Hrasny. He's got there's 2 copies of this left in the world. 3, pardon me. He's got one of them. This is a report of the program that we instituted, and the 3 kids from Notre Dame went down to Ottawa and participated in the production of a CBC program called Canada's Next Prime Minister. They weren't deeply involved in it, but they watched. The CBC producers loved them, had them involved, and the judges for that particular CBC production were old, has-been prime ministers. They were going to be the judges. 2 of them showed up. Brian Mulroney, God rest his soul, a friend of Notre Dame, by the way. Joe Clark, who probably knew, as a Westerner, probably knew Notre Dame better than Athol did. Or Athol, what a slip. Brian Mulroney did. I know it doesn't sound very exciting, but I would love it if I'm done.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, I wanted to see that.
What? You want me to read it? Is this it? Do you want me to read this?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Paul's going to give us the big reveal.
I thought I was the moment you were all waiting for.
Oh, you could probably stop the drum roll because he's got a couple nice things to say first.
Père. Did I say something wrong? Père. Listen, guys, this year's recipient is someone who leads with quiet strength and unwavering kindness. Pretty parish. They consistently treat others with respect and have taken a genuine interest in getting to know those around them from the moment they arrived on campus. Always ready to lend a hand, they actively participate in school life and have demonstrated meaningful growth, not just in athletics and academics, but also socially and spiritually. There's that word. That's Notre Dame. Their presence not only uplifts them around them, that's Père, but also brings a sense of energy. Wow, that's really Père. And fun wherever they go. This individual has grown tremendously over the past 4 years, both personally and as a member of our Notre Dame family. Their steady development speaks to their maturity, self-awareness, and deep understanding of what it means to be part of a team. And what a team we got here at Notre Dame. And to lead one. Respected by fellow hounds, faculty, and staff alike, this student's influence is felt across campus. Their dedication, humility, there's a pair one, believe it or not, and willingness to put others first, servient service, to put others first, have helped strengthen and shape our Notre Dame community. Today, we proudly honor, I say the name? Père. Stop that. God damn it. Today, we profoundly honor a student who embodies these ideals of Père. That's a lot to say. A person must be something. And by the way, congratulations to all you guys that were on the list. Nice going. You can hold your heads high. God damn it, Père, what are you doing? I'm going to finish. Yeah, I know I can speak better than you, so just leave me alone. Therefore, we proudly honor a student who embodies the ideals of Père, a true leader. He must be something. Born, she maybe, both in name and in action. I proudly call forward the recipient of the 2025 Father Athol Murray Award, Nathan Thompson. Nathan. Good to see you, buddy. Jesus Christ almighty. This is terrifying. The guy looks like Justin Trudeau, for God's sake. Look at him. Are you sure your name isn't Trudeau in hiding? Is it in the... Oh, a photo? Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, that's lots of photos. Okay, can I?
No. Thanks very much, guys. All the best to you.
Do you want your king? You've been stopped. Okay, thank you for being so patient, everyone, and this is a wonderful opportunity for Nathan. So in tradition, we usually ask the recipient to say a few words. So Nathan, the stage is yours. And I guess just before that, it would be my pleasure to announce that Nathan will receive a check for $1,000. He'll receive his name on the lovely Père plaque that hangs in varsity, and then I have an award for him. But first, we'll let him have the mic.
Okay, well, I'm really nervous, but I guess I'll give it a shot. Give it a shot. Yeah, I'd like to take this moment to just thank my parents, really, because it's all thanks to them that I am who I am today. They really just taught me everything. And whenever I have any type of question, I always are the first people I go to. So thank you. And especially thank you to my mom, because I know it's been really hard these past couple of months, just being at home alone. So thank you for everything you do for me, Naya, and Max. It means a lot. Thank you a lot. Yeah, and thank you to all the teachers who really helped me this year. This year was definitely a big year of growth, I think. I really explored my spirituality and trying to discover that philosophy aspect of my life and figuring out who I am. So yeah, thank you, Charlie, Skipper, very much for the talks that we've had. Thank you, Zomer, for opening my eyes to a world of politics and law and just a bigger world around me. Thank you, Atlanta, for helping me in English and opening my eyes once again to all these different aspects of life. And by all these people I've been told, I would have really appreciated to meet Père, and I think that too. I think it's just really an honor. And thank you, everybody, for making it just a really great experience. And it's been a great 4 years. Thank you.
Okay, so a word for you to take home. Money in the envelope. One more round of applause for our nominees and Nathan. And Kate Williams and Paul, could you please come back up here briefly?
Hello, my name is Kate Williams, and I'm a four-year hound from Milestone, Saskatchewan. On behalf of Notre Dame staff and students, I want to thank you for joining us today, sharing your stories about your time at Notre Dame in the 50s, and we hope you enjoy your alumni weekend back on campus.
Thank you so much.
This is for you.
It's a book. Yeah, it's a book. Okay, so we went a little bit over time, but we do have another ceremony outside. We have the Buffalo Boys drum group and some Indigenous dancing. So we're going to go outside and celebrate for a little bit. We are going to... The drummers are going to grab their chairs from varsity entrance and head to Canada Park. Our dancers are going to go put on their regalia in the dorms. We are going to have a few minutes to just get outside and hang out in Canada Park. Ange McGarry, do we have 2 minutes for you to say a blessing? Okay. We're going to do this right now with a microphone. So yesterday we were going to do our No Hounds Left Alone, and we had rained for like 24 straight hours. So we were unable to do that ceremony. But we are hoping to go out to the cemetery and place the candles and the flags maybe tomorrow morning. But we'd like to just quickly offer that prayer up before we head outside. Sounds good?
Thank you very much for this book, Legacy. I've never seen it. I've always wanted it.
Awesome.
It's a perfect gift. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much.
By the way, the answer to the question about, how do I feel about Père of Notre Dame? There we go.
Okay, I'll try to be quick with this, but that young man who won the award got me all teared up with his emotional thank you, so well done. The No Hound Left Alone program is designed to honor, to educate, and to remember. In life, they were students and they were teachers. They were athletes and artists. They were parents, and the lessons we have learned and are learning here. To put heart into everything we do, to retain and live our motto, Luctor et Emergo, struggle and emerge, to remember him and his commitment to awaken in youth an awareness of the true values in life, to embrace the teachings and the vision of what Père called his greatest accomplishment, the Tower of God, and to advance those lessons of faith and peace in the future. It is a challenge that every hound accepts, and it is how we keep his influence and memory alive. Today, before we assemble at the cemetery, we will place these flags, flowers, and candles at Mother Edith's headstone and at Father Murray's headstone in the shadow of the Tower of God. It is an act of respect and remembrance, and it serves as a visual message of Mother Edith's presence and of Père's guidance and influence even 50 years after his passing. Rest easy, great heart, your good work endures and thrives. Today we bear our colors proudly. We are reminded of this large Notre Dame family of which we are all a part. We remember and celebrate the lives of the hounds who have come before us, and we ask them to watch over us as we live and play and learn. These hounds, our brothers and sisters, are never alone. We carry them with us every day in our lives at Notre Dame. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of these hounds and for the gift of this act of remembrance. We ask you and our departed hounds to watch over us, guide our steps, and lead us safely onward through all the years with loving care. Hounds forever. Normally at this time I would ask you to do the prayer and victory march, but I don't know if we have time. Do we?
I feel like the best way to thank Paul for that amazing speech would be to sing the prayer and victory march, and then we'll blast outside and we'll have some fresh air and stand. So everyone can stand. Is Lisa in the house? Oh yeah, okay. So we get this twice today, right? Oh, probably even 3 times. 3 times is a charm. Okay, thanks, Lisa.
Dear Notre Dame, we hail the alma mater, thy loyal hounds, thy banners proudly bear. We pledge to thee our love and our devotion. We beg thee hear and grant our prayer. Oh, guide our steps and lead us safely onward through all the years with loving care. What though the odds be great or small, old Notre Dame will win over all, while her loyal hounds are marching onward to victory. Cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame, wake up the echoes, cheer in her name. Send a volley, cheer on high, shake down the thunder from the sky. What though the odds be great or small, old Notre Dame will win over all, while her loyal hounds are marching onward to victory. Cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame, wake up the echoes, cheer in her name. Send a volley, cheer on high, shake down the thunder from the sky. What though the odds be great or small, old Notre Dame will win over all, while her loyal hounds are marching onward to victory. Notre Dame!